I want to go ahead and apologize for the rough audio. I've been having those issues once again, but I've narrowed it down to one of my cables that I use for my audio. So got a couple of those on orders, and hopefully that will fix the issue. Now, with all that being said, you're going to hear a little bit of crackling, but other than that, please enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm back out here on the tiny boat, and I've got some jugs with me and some wild hog I'm going to try to use as bait for catfish. Now, in order to temper expectations, this is not going to be a hog hunt video, but if you are interested in hog hunts, I will leave a card somewhere over here or up here, and that way you're able to go and watch that. This is a piece of ham roast from a wild boar that unfortunately went bad. Instead of throwing it away, I figured, well, why not try it for hog bait? I mean, it's bloody, it's got a lot of fat, it's a tiny bit of an odor to it because it just went bad in the freezer, unfortunately. So we're going to give this a shot, cut up a couple pieces, and I want to show you how I set my jug lines out. Now here is my jug. It's got about 4 to 5 feet of line on it, and it's just tied up to a pool noodle. These are a little bit older variety that I use, but they're perfect for out here where I might be a little more likely to lose them, although hopefully that won't be the case. Now, normally I have circle hooks, but I have J hooks on these just because they have the wide barb, makes it easier to tie on. And I'm just going to take this piece of wild boar, I'm just going to stick it on the hook. And the good thing about this wild boar, it's kind of like chicken. It's tough, so it's a little more difficult to get on a hook, but it's less likely to come off, number one. Number two is that it sinks, even without a weight. So if you don't have a weight on your line, unlike some fish and whatnot, this stuff will still sink. So a little bit difficult getting that on, but it is on now. It's got a little fat holding on as well. And now I'm just going to take it and gently throw it over the side of the boat and continue on down this river/lake. Now, there are a lot of gar in here, so I'm likely going to get a couple of those as well, but hopefully we'll end up with more catfish than them. Now that I got this one set up, I'm just going to go on a line, and about every 50 feet or so, I'm going to set out a jug. Since I have 40 with me today, I might even reduce that increment to 25 feet just because I have 40 jugs, and that's quite a few for this small boat. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with that. With the previous set done, I now have my newer set. These jugs have PVC pipe inside, which adds some rigidity, and a circle hook, which generally gives a better hookup ratio. I take my piece of wild boar, and as you'll see, I make sure the barb is clear. That's how the hook sets inside the fish's mouth and makes these things so successful. The PVC also allows you to throw them away farther from the boat if need be, and better for larger catfish. Well, the rain is starting to fall, so I'm going to go ahead, throw these noodles back in the water. I want to go find some cover because it looks like I have a pretty good shower headed my way. And I can see the wind already picking up as well, so looks like I'll be chasing quite a few jugs into the trees. Oh well, part of it, especially on a small boat with not a whole lot of power. I want to go and put the camera away though so it doesn't get damaged as well. That rainstorm lasted for about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and start picking some of these jugs up, because surely one of them ought to have a fish on, and if not, that's 38 jugs out here that I haven't caught anything on, meaning either no fish or the bait doesn't work, and I really shouldn't have used it today. But hey, that's kind of what I do. I experiment with different baits, try out and see what is effective, and this may not be effective. I've picked up 36 out of the 38 floats and jugs, and I haven't gotten anything, and it looks like finally on this last one or two, I may finally have a line out. I want to go ahead and check it real quick, not really sure what's on it. It's not pulling very hard, so I'm not sure if it's a catfish or a turtle, and maybe a gar again. Well, I definitely have a cat on one line right here. It's one of the last ones I've set out, and I'm just trying to chase it down right now, but he's making it difficult. Not really sure on the size or anything of that nature, but just moving around quite a bit. We'll see if I can catch up to him here in just a second. And there he is off the side of the boat. I don't have what I normally have with me, which is a gaff, so I got this paddle. There's some weight on it, that's for certain. That is a big boy. Easily, probably a 10-pounder. Like I said, normally I have a gaff, but let me see if I can get him in the boat. How about that? Something got him as well. I can see that he's got some damage on one side of him. Goodness. Well, this is the only fish I've gotten so far today, but it's a good fish. This thing is probably measuring 2.5 feet long, but it's the only one I had thus far, and it looks like something was trying to attack him, maybe an alligator or something of that nature. He hasn't been on the line terribly long, but I want to go ahead and get this hook out, throw him in the cooler, and he is definitely coming home. Anything bigger than this, I'd be a little bit more cautious due to mercury levels and things of that nature, but this guy should be all right. Well, it looks like I had something on this line. You can see that it's definitely catfish slime, probably from them wrapping it around themselves, and they managed to get unhooked. It's one of the reasons I don't prefer these J hooks. The circle hooks have a tendency to do a little bit better about keeping fish on the line, but that is at least a couple of hooks. I've seen 2 or 3 like this where the fish just wrapped up and gotten off on these jugs in deeper water. And the shallow water I saw where it was alligators, they had twisted it and started fraying the line. They got 2 or 3 of those lines, but fortunately they weren't on the hook or anything of that nature. But this is the last jug I got. I'm going to go ahead and wrap everything up, start heading back to the ramp because it's starting to look quite menacing off in the distance. Now, one of the negatives of using small boats is if you got a lot of storms in the area, once again, it looks like I'm about to run into yet another rainstorm. This one looks a little bit more menacing. So I want to see if I can rush over before that hits me and get everything on the trailer and hopefully stay out of this mud because the roads around here are about to turn into slush. Getting a little bit late, but here he is, about a 10-pound or so fish, roughly 28 inches. The Yeti is 30 inches across from side to side, so not a bad guy whatsoever. I'll be filleting him in just a minute. Now the question still remains, is wild boar good for catfish bait? And honestly, it's a yes and no. Don't expect it to perform nearly as well as live bait or fresh cut bait, whether that be gizzard shad or brim. But for frozen bait from the fridge, I would say it's acceptable. It performs just as well as chicken gizzards. Now, whether you want to use it or not is completely up to you. Don't go out of your way in order to go find a pig in order to use this bait. Honestly, chicken gizzards perform just about as well, and you can pick them up for $3 or $4 for basically half a pound to a pound at the grocery store, and it's quick and easy. Everybody carries it. But since I'm already hunting pigs and I tend to eat them anyways, I already have a little bit of extra on hand, and generally like the front shoulders are really tough and not that great to eat. So maybe keep a front shoulder, keep in your freezer. You can leave it in there for 2 or 3 years, and if you just can't make it to go get some bait, well, now you got something frozen that you can still get out and use if you need to. That's the way I see it. So I'll probably continue to use it in the future. I want to try a few different parts of the pig in the future as well, see if anything kind of changes. But I think it did all right for what it is, in all honesty. Now, with all that being said, guys, I do hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please make sure to share, like, subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for watching.